There we go.
Hello, everyone. It's Carolyn and Janice with Janice and Carolyn in episode 10.
Yay!
Yay!
It's
We hit double digits is right. That's amazing, I think. So we stay nice and consistent. We're here. I'm very happy. How are you this week?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. You were saying you're busy?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. I don't know what. Well, I had a class last night, so that was kind of
Mhm.
busy getting prepped for that. So yeah.
Yeah, that does take time. Yeah, and this challenge, we're going to go with the Global Design Project Challenge, which is number 390. So if you want to search for other ones online, just put in that hashtag GDP 390. And this week it was a sketch challenge. So
Mhm.
look it up. And the sketch challenge was a couple of layers and then a 9 kind of sequence background. We were shown squares with it, but sketch challenges, or when you're doing those challenges, anything's open for interpretation. Wherever your creativity leads you, that's what we are expected to do. So have fun with it. It's your card. Do whatever you want in the background. But if you want to look it up on any of the social medias and on Facebook, and they have a blog as well. So just look it up online and Google, and you'll find global design projects, and you'll get lots of creativity and inspiration there.
Awesome.
Okay.
Starting point like that.
Yeah, I know it's been fun. It's a good like starting point, a bouncing point. It's like I feel like
Yeah,
it's a trampoline for us to get us started.
that's right. Rather than trying to come up with something out of the blue and starting with nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I will get us started, Janice, and
Yeah,
I will go ahead and swap over. We're going to replace the spotlight. Can you see my desk?
perfect.
I feel like
Yes.
I've zoomed in a lot today, and I've given myself like a really limited limited amount of space to craft in, but you hopefully will be able to see better at home. So this is episode 10, and as we said, we decided to go with a global design project. I'm going to list out the things that I used in my project before I show you my card. So I used the framed florets stamp set, and I used the sentiment for a special person on a special day, and then celebrate on the inside. This frame florets is retiring soon. It's still at full price, but if you love it and want it and need it, you're going to need to place your order for that soon before it retires. And I think it retires probably at the end of this catalog.
Yeah, May 1st.
Yeah. And then also using artistically inked. This is not retired, it is sticking around, but I do love using this background to add lots of extra dimension. So I'm just using this actually stamp for part of the background today. So it's artistically inked. And then the Brilliant Wings dies, I did use the smallest detail die and the larger outline of this. It's still a small one, but it's the larger of the two. The Brilliant Wings die set is retiring. It is available right now as we do this recording, and it is on sale. So it's a regular $60 from Stampin' Up Canadian price, and right now it's on sale for $24. So these are great in your scrapbooking and your card making. So make sure you go and buy one of those before they're all gone. I use some fine shimmer, and this is in the mini catalog right now, and I use some of the gold that's here on top. You do get 3 colors and 6 sheets for $13.75, but it's actually on sale because it is retiring, and that's on sale for $11. I used some of the white frayed ribbon, but I pulled it apart and just used the string that you can pull off on the side. Also on sale right now. It was $10.25 and it's on sale for $5.25. So there's some good deals to be had out there. And now this is my card. So the sketch for Global Design Project 390 was to have a 9-item background. So, or a square or a circle, however you interpret their very simple sketch. So the card sketch did show 9 items. So I die cut 9 of the smallest detail die. I'll just pull that die back in so you can see which one I used. and I cut them out of cardstock vellum. I was going to show you how I did that because I didn't do one at a time. Here it is. The piece that I worked with is I have two layered together of the cardstock vellum, and then I put a little piece of just Scotch tape at the top. So then when I ran it through my Big Shot, excuse me, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I cut out two at a time, and I had no problem with how that cut out because my plates are nice and flat, and so the detail on those dies came out really well just by using two layers together. So sometimes you can get away, and that's a little time saver. So I'm also using Pacific Point, which is one of our retiring in colors. I did double check to see if we can get any of those colors. And when I put in Pacific Point, you can get Pacific Point, but you have to be creative about it. You have to buy the multi-pack of the brights. So you can still get a couple of sheets by purchasing the multi-pack of the 8.5 by 11 in the brights. And the markers are still available, but it's in the full set of the markers. So you get all the colors that we have. All right, so here are my card pieces and sizes. So for Pacific Point, I have 3 pieces actually. One is 4 3/4 by 3.5. The second one is 5 and 3 by 3 3/4. And the card base is 5.5 by 8.5. And you're going to fold that in the middle at 4.5. So that's your card base. And then the basic white pieces are, you're going to need 3 of those. The first one is this first top layer here, which is 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. And then the back layer that I show here in this 3-layer cards that I've already glued together is 5 1/4 by 4. Now, the first one is going to go on the top of your card, on the front of your card, and the second piece is going to go on the inside of your card with your sentiment. And it just gives you a nice little, it's not a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So it's going to layer up like this. And then I'm going to decorate this piece. I'll move that out. Go back and pause if you need to see those measurements again. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in my Pacific Point stamp pad and pop it open. Mine is kind of old, it's not the new style. And I'm going to mount up that big stamp from Artistically Inked. And then I'm going to stamp on here. I need a piece of scrap paper actually, don't I? Let me lean over and pull this in. Move some things off to the side as well. And I'm just moving this piece in while I'm stamping so I don't get my table inky. And then I'm just going to randomly put that ink or stamp that stamp just so I have some kind of dimension and more interest. Because when I just put the butterflies on there, it looks a little flat. Didn't look very fun or interesting. So I thought, oh, I'm going to change that up and put some stamps on there. So it looks kind of more like a designer series paper, I think. And that's it. If you want to keep going, you can. If you're happy with it, you can stop. But this stamp just makes things look really marbly, which I really like. Maybe I'll do a couple more off on the corner. So that's it. That's what I use that one for. And the Pacific Point ink, while I have it out, I will pull in my interior card liner. And I'm going to line this up to make it a little straight for me. So when I stamp my sentiment, it will hopefully be nice and straight for the person I give the card to. All right, so for a special person on a special day is all stamped and ready to go for the inside of my card. I'm going to pull back in my front piece. I can pull out the scrap paper. Looking at my hands, make sure I don't have too much ink on my hands before I go further. All right, so I used my ruler to find the center because I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to put all these butterflies on there in a somewhat straight way? So I thought, okay, if I find the middle and working with this piece, which in inches measures 4 3/4 by 3.5. I thought, oh, I'm just going to use centimeters because it's a 12 centimeters across and 6 is exactly in the middle for centimeters. So I'm just going to do a light line in the middle so I can see it. You might not be able to see it. I'll make it a little dark for you. So I'm just finding the center point by measuring across the width and the length. And then centimeters, it's almost 9. So I'm just going to shift it up so I can mark the 4.5. It doesn't have to be perfectly precise, but I did want to know where I needed to place the first butterfly. So the first butterfly is going to go here in the middle, and then I can work my way around that. So I'm using my favorite Tombow, $5.50 in 2 weeks. 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It is going to go up in price by $2. So please, please place an order, stock up, buy a few of these. And the other thing that I noticed about my card, when I didn't want to lay it just completely straight, so this middle one is going to be tilting and flying off to the left. And then I'm going to alternate those. So you actually need 8 of these butterflies in the vellum cardstock. So this one I'm tipping towards the middle one. That looks like it's come down a little bit, so I'll move it up a tiny bit. And then you just work out from here. So I'm using the Tombow, which you can see a little bit, but I'm only gluing on that inside little body piece. And you can cover those up. I don't think I want to because I wanted my corner decoration to have the most focus. So I didn't add anything else to that card. So now I'm going to go above that butterfly and tip it in the opposite direction. And then it's going to go in the opposite direction than the middle one. So I'm going to, so that's how I kind of designed and worked around how do you put everything on there. Not a very precise stamper. Some people are, some people measure out each spot. I just took the center spot and worked out from there. And that worked for me, but it's your card. You do it how you want it to look. I just didn't want to keep measuring. I like when I get time to stamp, it's like, let's go. Let's not be fussy. I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay. All right. So this last one is going to go this direction. It's quite a bit of glue on that one, so I'll take that off. And then I'm only gluing, excuse me, the center. So it has a lot of dimension anyway, but then if I hold it up for you, you can see that the back looks a little marbly and I don't know, it looks interesting. So this was the fine shimmer paper that's in the mini catalog right now. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to glue this one yet. I need my glue dots. So remember I said I pulled a piece of the frayed ribbon. When you pull that out, here's my quick tip. It's going to be very bent, zigzaggy, wrinkled, whatever adjective you want to use there. So all I did was I just cut off a piece and I brought it into the bathroom and I ran it under water. And once it got wet, I could just like straighten it out. And I did that early, maybe a few hours ago, and it's already dry because it's pretty light and flimsy. So it doesn't take long to get rid of those. You don't need to put an iron or anything like that. A little bit of water will help. And then I just pulled it through the towel that was in the bathroom and dried it off, and then it air dried the rest of the way. I need glue dots, Janice. Oh, I do have them on this table. I was going to say I'm going to have to turn around and get them, but lucky they're right here. So I'm going to put some of these on the back. And I'm really being careful. I don't want to tear the butterfly because it is now like a detailed die. I'm going to put one on the back of the wings, in the middle of the body, and then I'm just going right across the middle. So there's one here, and one here. And what that's going to do is it will hold my little fake bow. So I'm angling it up and to the right, and then I'm going to make a loop on this side. See if you can follow along. Everything's sticking to my fingers because I have glue on them. All right, behave. So I'm making a loop to make a faux bow, and then another loop on this side. And I'm going to touch it or push it down in the middle. And then it's going to hang off. Do you see how I did that? So all the glue dots are holding it down in place. So I didn't tie any knots. I just stuck it into the glue dots. And so you turn it over. Maybe I need to hold it up a little bit. There's a bit of a bow happening behind that die cut. I'll trim it in a little bit. Maybe I'll do it now because there's one long leg of the piece of ribbon. Get that cut. And then I'm going to stick that there. Here. I might need more glue dots. Let's see. I'll put another one on top of where I put the center one. Put a couple there. And that will help hold the butterfly down to the card as well. Keeping it kind of in the center. It's stuck to my finger. And I don't mind that it's maybe will show through because I'm going to cover up the center of the butterfly with my sentiment. Should have pulled in my pick tool for this. Okay, there we go. We've got our faux bow on the back of our butterfly, and this butterfly gets tilted up like it's flying to the left. Sure everything's where you want it to go before you push it down. Some things can still be trimmed up a little bit. Okay, so I've got that fine shimmer butterfly in place. And then I'm going to just pull in a little, like, you can call them scraps or offcuts, whatever, little piece of the Pacific point. I'm going to rub the embossing buddy over it because now I'm going to emboss the Celebrate stamp, which came from the Framed Florets stamp set. And I'm going to use my white embossing powder. And of course, for ink, when you're embossing, you use your Versamark ink pad. It's a watermark stamp pad, but it also is sticky. So if you wanted to have Celebrate in the background and let it dry, it will show darker. But if you put embossing powder on top of this while it's still sticky, the embossing powder will stick, and then you can heat emboss and have a raised white, because I'm using white embossing powder, a white sentiment. I'm going to pull in my heat gun. So you will need one of these when you are heat embossing, one of the specialty tools, but we use it a lot, don't we, Janice?
We do.
Oh, I turned it on before I did my powder. Oh. I told Janice I was fading earlier, and I was like, I really am. If I haven't even embossed, I'll put the powder on. Oh, goodness gracious. All right,
You would
so now
have
I've got the white powder on. Now I can use my heat tool to emboss.
you would have been waiting a long time for that to go shiny without powder.
I know. I'm like, oh, I really wanted to have a watermark, but no, I didn't.
But
And
you
this is going to celebrate. And remember, we already stamped our interior, which was for a special person on a special day. And then I'm just going to use my paper snips and cut, hopefully, a straight line, make it really narrow. And then I'm going to angle the sides. I might bring this in a little bit closer. Let's see how it looks on the card front. Oh, that's okay, I think. I need my pick tool after all. Spread this out a little bit. There you go. And with your Celebrate, you can put it straight. You can put it wonky, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the top layer to the 3 layers that I've already prepared for you. Flip it over and use the Tombow. You can put some love on there. A little heart. And this is a narrow border, just like 1/16 of an inch. So I'm just going to look at each side, the 2 sides. I look at this side and the bottom side, this, and then before I commit, but the commit to laying it down. But the great thing about the Tombow is you have, I can see how I can move that back and forth a little bit. You've got a little bit of wiggle room, so you can kind of adjust it up and down, side to side, before it gets stuck down. So that's why so many crafters are loving using the Tombow. We can just adjust and make those little adjustments, and you don't have to, you know, tear a card apart once you've picked it up and go, oh, I didn't do it square, it's crooked and squish. Squish. And now this border is going to be a little bit bigger, 1/8 of an inch. And again, I'm looking at the side and the bottom and comparing this side to that side. And then when I hold it up, I look at the top, just to make sure I did it okay. I might give it a little, I'm giving a little push that you can't see. But then when you're done, your card should be square and have even borders if you've done that right. But remember, it's homemade. So if it's not perfect, the person you give it to will still absolutely love it. So I'm just trimming down those little pieces from the frayed ribbon that I used. Yeah, that's out. They're so, I can't even hardly feel them. They're so light and delicate. So here's my Celebrate. I'm going to lay across. I'm going to actually put it straight, but I am going to use some, just an edge of the Stampin' Dimensionals because it's straight. And will be the right length and width to fit on the back of that piece of teeny tiny cardstock that you put your sentiment on. That just came from like an offcut when you're cutting down your paper. And then I'm gonna put my Celebrate in the middle. I want to see the bow, I want to see the butterfly. And I haven't pushed it down yet. I'm kind of looking in to see if it's straight-ish. Let me hold it up like this so I can see it a little bit better without getting my head in your way. And then my bow is there. Oh, so yeah, I'm happy with that. And then my interior piece, I'm going to go ahead and use the Tombow again. Move that up for you. I've zoomed in a lot today. Let me know if you like it or not in the comments, but it's given me a really narrow, small piece of my table to work with. But I want you to see it. I want you to be able to see everything I'm doing at home. And so this is going to go on here. Remember, I stamped this sentiment just a little bit earlier. And I'm looking at the side and the bottom, and then I pick it up to check the top. That's how I usually make sure everything's gone according to plan and is straight. And then I also use the second of those little butterfly dies to cut out one of those for the little butterfly for the interior. And I'm just tapping a little bit of Tombow on there. It's just tiny. And then I'm just gonna put it here on the corner of the sentiment. And then that's my card, you guys. I love shimmer paper. So anytime there's glitter or glimmer available in the catalog, I absolutely snap that up. But I don't use it as much as I should. But it turned out okay on this card, I thought. So
It is very pretty.
the bottom corner becomes the focal point, even though I've used the 9 layers or 9 item background for the global design project. So that's my card. So I hope you give it a try. Go ahead and comment on our Facebook page if you watch it there, or down on our YouTube channel. And any likes or thumbs up or even subscriptions are very welcome.
Absolutely.
All right, Janice, that didn't take very long today, I feel like.
Beautiful.
Thanks. I am going to swap out my
Spotlight.
desk. See, I can't even think. And add your desk as a spotlight. Actually, I wanted to replace. I hit the wrong thing. Instead of add, I'm going to remove my spotlight totally so you can have a bigger view. Oh, you're upside
Oh,
down for me.
oh my.
No.
Hold on. Let me
Okay.
adjust my.
You're going to adjust it. Do you want me to turn it off while you do that? Or I just want to?
Yeah, my.
Let me see.
Hard to reach my phone when it's in the holder.
Yeah. I'm clicking. It's not doing anything. Oh, remove spotlight. Okay.
Yeah, good spotlight. So
that one. I'll go back to mine for a minute.
Okay, here we go. Okay, I
there
think
you
now.
Go.
Let me get it back in the holder.
Mine's straight.
Okay, fine now without going to spot.
It looks good.
Straight now? Okay, there we go.
It looks good. Yeah, it's straight. I can see. Happy birthday.
Okay.
It's not upside down.
Yay!
Yay! Oh, that's so pretty, Janice.
So mine is a very literal translation of the Global Design Challenge or project today. It has the 9 squares. And I found it easier to line them up if I did the paper. I just took a bigger piece of white and put it up right in the corner and then did around the sides, and then I trimmed it down. So it ended up, this white piece ends up being 3 3/16. So if you have a Stampin' Up trimmer, it's 3 little lines past the 3.
Yeah.
And the same inch around. So I've used the Art Gallery stamp set, which is also retiring. Oh, I'm zoomed in a lot too, Carolyn.
I love that one though.
Yeah, so this one is retiring and it's on sale. I checked it yesterday. It was still in stock, so I haven't checked it today. It was regular $30. It's on for $12. So really good price on that stamp set.
That is a good deal.
Yeah, and then I've used the soft succulent, which is retiring. And this paper is, let me just grab the pack. It's called the Fancy Flora designer paper. Mm-hmm. I love the designs in this one. And this is the piece that I used here. So when I cut it into 1-inch squares, I got 16 pieces.
Cool.
Enough to make 4 cards in 1 sheet of designer paper. That paper, the DSP, is not on sale. It's $16.50, but it is retiring, so only available till the 1st of May. So then the measurements. Oh, and I use the soft succulent ribbon, which is retiring. I love
that ribbon.
I know, it's so nice, right? I wrote it on there. It was $10.25. It's now $4.10. So really great deal on that one too. So if you want to snag some of that. So the measurements for my card, I'll just put it right here if somebody wants to take a screenshot or anything. So the base layer is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored on the long side at 4.25. So it ends up being 4.25 by 5.5. And then my layer here is 5.25 by 4. And this one I've embossed with, this is a new online offering, the Basics 3D embossing folders. So you get 3 in one set. And so I've used this one. Sorry about the reflection there. And this one is dots. And then this one is like a floral pattern. So you can see my lamp, but so I used that one. And then the DSP, the scrap, the inside, the ribbon, and the sequins are the pastel sequins, which are carrying over. And I'm glad they are because I've been using them so much. And the colors just seem to, this iridescent pink kind of goes with everything. The blue is not bad, but I like the pink a little bit better on there. And then this white was just a scrap. And the inside, I stamped one of those flowers in the double layer from the art gallery set. So this side here, and we'll start making the card.
It's so pretty.
So I've got my base already done. And then the embossed layer, I just stuck on with my Tombow glue because I wanted to pop up the layer with the squares on it. And as Carolyn said, I'm stocking up on the glue because it's going up $2, and $2 a piece is pretty significant increase. So if you can stock up, it was in low inventory. I put in an order last night for free shipping and it was showing in low inventory, which doesn't surprise me because I know a lot of demos have stocked up on that. So I pre-cut my piece to 3 3/16 because I know that's what it's going to be. And I pre-cut my squares. Now, I tried to keep them together. You can definitely do random. You could switch them around, like this would coordinate with it as well. But I tried to keep the pieces together. So I just laid them with actually I used the Tombow and then let it dry. So it was just tacky. And then it's almost like a glue dot. So let's see. Can you see that okay?
That's perfect.
So I normally just start in the corner, and this, I avoided the measurements that Carolyn was doing because it hurt my brain.
I know. Sometimes it's just like too much.
So I just went a little tiny border, like it's probably a 1/16 of an inch, I guess, because the 3 squares would be 3 inches.
Yeah.
So then I just went down. And if I work quickly enough, I can adjust if I need to. So it's a little bit, oh, it sticks fast. Catch that one while I can. There we go.
So little.
So yeah, it's a little bit uneven there. Let's see if I can still get it up without making a mess. Yeah, okay. Or a little bit on the back, but that would annoy me because it was not quite
a little off.
Just a little off, yeah. There we go. That's better. Okay, so I'm getting my pieces here again. And then I went across the top before I went down just to make sure I had the spacing right along the top edge as well. So this time I'm going to try it. There's a train going by. I don't know if you can hear that, Carolyn, in my backyard.
Yeah. I heard it then, but
did you?
Know. Other times you've asked me, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Strange.
Maybe because I'm in the kitchen today instead of my craft room. Maybe it's more. It is more towards the back of the house, so maybe that's
okay.
Why.
But it wasn't bad. Yesterday
I don't usually even notice it, but when you're doing something and it's kind of quiet, then that's when, of course,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, the train.
Yeah. When we lived at home in Badger in Newfoundland, the train used to go straight through our town too. We always heard it. But
Oh,
I
did
mean, you did, but you didn't, because it would go through and, pull the whistle or blow the whistle
yeah,
at midnight. Like you'd only heard if you were awake. You never heard it.
it didn't wake you. That's right. Yeah.
No.
That's what I find here too. If I'm awake, I hear it, but it doesn't wake me.
Yeah.
And we even sometimes sleep with the window open and it still doesn't wake me. So, but I'm a pretty sound sleeper. Wasn't so much when Ryan was little, but now that he's older, it's takes a lot to wake me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I do love that paper. I haven't used that for a while.
Oh, me too. It's
I'm gonna have
really,
to
I was
use it.
hoping it would carry over, but I guess it has too many, like it has the succulents and the evening evergreen retiring colors. So I
Yes.
think that's why they couldn't carry it over, but it's so pretty. Oops, lost that one. Hopefully I can find which spot it goes in. There we go. I think that's right.
Looks right.
If not, oh well. Plus the sentiment goes there too, so that's going to cover it up a little bit.
True.
All right, so then I put dimensionals on the back. Grab my sheet of dimensionals here. Okay. I plugged in because I'm at low battery, so hopefully it doesn't die.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I didn't notice when I started that my battery was low. It's
I plugged mine in, but I just turned it off because I wasn't sure if it was going to last the whole time.
Yeah, I used I charged it last night, and normally it holds a charge longer, but I don't. It's getting, my iPad's getting old now. It's like 5 years, so that's probably why. All right, so let me do the greeting. Now that one I had happy birthday. I think I'm gonna do thinking of you for this one, just so I have a variety when I'm giving out my cards.
Good idea.
So use soft succulent ink, and it's just a scrap of white. It's 1/2 inch thick. And then I used to use a longer piece and cut the ends off to whatever I need. So you could do it a little bit narrower, I guess, if depending on how big your sentiment was. But these sentiments are a little smaller, so it's okay. And then I just use my snips to angle it.
I'm sorry if you heard all that.
Oh.
Tipping stuff over.
Your microphone must be pretty good at noise canceling.
Must be.
That's good.
It's my new one, so hopefully it is.
A piece of ribbon that's a little bit longer.
I love satin ribbon. Oh, it's so
Me
pretty.
too. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to use glue dots on the back of the ribbon. I find that's the best thing for ribbon. And sticking the ribbon in the glue dots. Sorry, I didn't realize I was doing that off camera, but press it on and the glue dot sticks to the back. Oops, that one stuck to my finger.
They are sticky.
Yes. So this one's going to come out a little bit longer just because my greeting is a bit longer, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. And then I use dimensionals on the greeting. So I'm going to use Carolyn's trick and cut an edge so that we can get it kind of right along. Just because I want it to stick good to that piece of ribbon too. There we go. And center it. There. And I did a couple of the sequins. Where are they hiding? Under here. So I put one kind of down in the corner. I want one to be on the paper. There. And then one down here a little bit. There we go.
Nice.
And I'll do the inside. I didn't pre-stamp that because I just didn't do a lot of stamping. So I thought I'll show you the inside. And I love these two-step stamps. They make such a great image. And I'm going to do, I think I have an envelope here too somewhere if I can find it. There it is. So I'm just going to stamp it in the corner, and I'm using soft succulent first. Sorry, I'm crooked here. I'm not using the whole thing, but I'm going this way. And then before I switch to the other color, I'll do my envelope. And I'm going to do the bottom corner again there. One thing I've seen people do, Carolyn, I'm going to try it here, but it looks kind of fun too, is on the envelope, stamp it with the flap down.
Okay.
So when you put it together, you've got kind of your images all together, which is kind of fun. And if you use a letter opener, you're going to rip the top anyway, so it stays together.
That's cute.
So
cute idea.
Yeah, the evening evergreen, and this is the second layer for that flower. And there's a couple different flowers that you can do in the two-tone. Now, there's a little, it's kind of like a space line in between here that I use to line up the outside image. And it tends to work pretty well. And it doesn't matter if it's exact because it's just the look of it is kind of a watercolor.
Oh, that's
but
pretty.
I love the two-tone. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, gorgeous.
And these two colors I'm really going to miss. I love these two colors.
I know, me too. I really like those two greens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty. They were good while they lasted.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe the next color refresh in 5 years' time, they might come back again.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on to those stamp pads and ink refills.
One more. I did get the ink refills in that one before it ran out. I think it did run out, but
yeah.
Let's see if I can line this up here somewhere around there.
It is an added expense at the beginning, but you'll never be sad if you buy the ink refills, everybody. Never, ever, ever. It is like one of the best tips. When you get an ink pad, buy the ink refill, and then your pad is good for life.
Yeah. I went to use an ink the other day and I thought I had every color of refill. And when I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. And it ended up being so saffron, which is retiring. So that's okay. Yeah. Okay. But I'm like, oh, my ink pad's kind of dry. And I went to refill it like, uh-oh, I don't have so saffron. And it was such a pain because you're trying to squeeze the last bit of ink out of it. And you got to ink up your stamp like 3 or 4 times before you can stamp with it. And yeah, like you said, when you get the refill, the stamps, I've refilled some of them, even the black ones, so many times. And I still have tons of ink left.
Tons.
Yeah.
You only have to buy it once, really, unless you drop it or break it or something happens to it.
There we go.
So beautiful. Oh, that's really great. I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was very literal interpretation of the challenge. It wasn't, I didn't get creative like you did.
I don't know if I got creative or just went crazy.
But I thought of doing when I saw it, I thought of tic-tac-toe.
Oh yeah.
It'd be great if you did it kind of like a tic-tac-toe board and just use the letters and did X's and O's.
Yeah. Well, when I started like flipping through what was retiring, I was like, oh, I need to use the butterflies one more time. I was like, will that fit? And then I got excited when the littlest die fit. So I was like, okay, that's how I started. Yeah. Well, again, thanks for stamping with me. And I hope everybody at home stamps along or breaks out your craft stuff, you're stamping everything and makes 1 or 2 of these and maybe even follow along with the global design project and get inspiration and make something of your own. That's
Yeah,
the fun of being a stamper.
absolutely. You can use that layout and go nuts with it. Use whatever paper you want, whatever punches or die cuts, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah, punches would be good too, wouldn't they?
it would.
Yeah. And stamps. You could stamp 9 times on a background, add a sentiment across the front, and you're
Yeah,
done. So
exactly.
stamping does not have to be overly complicated. We do want you to have fun and use the products that you have at home. Um, but this is episode 10, and we will be back with you with episode 11 before you know it.
All right.
Thanks, Janice. It was great seeing you.
You too, Carolyn. Have a great day. Thanks to
You too.
everybody watching, and like and subscribe.
Sounds good. Good advice. Like and subscribe. See you next week.
Bye.